Hi everyone, my name is Jason Linney and I'm the product manager for continuous integration here at GitLab. I want to talk a little bit about some of the exciting things that we have upcoming in our 12.5 milestone. First up is that we're adding support for defining the GitLab CI YAML outside of the repository. You already have the ability to move it around within the repository, but this will allow you to point to it in another project at an arbitrary URL, and this will enable a lot of different use cases where the configuration is held outside. A good example of this is open source projects, maybe where you're building using GitLab CI, but you don't want to change the project that you're building, and you can't insert a GitLab CI YAML into the project. Another use case is actually the second issue here about protecting GitLab CI YAML from changing by developers. This is a feature that we've had requested for some time, and we're going to be implementing it using this same approach. Protecting your GitLab CI YAML from changing by developers will be doable by moving it into a different project with a different set of permissions, users, members, and that will make it possible to do this in a pretty natural and easy way. We're also adding the ability to keep the latest artifact for every job. And what this does is it makes it so that you're always guaranteed to have the latest artifact for the jobs that run in your pipelines. And what you can do with this then is set a very aggressive expiration policy on artifacts so that you're not using up much disk space on an ongoing basis, but still always confident that you've got the latest artifacts that you've built. And it's going to be a good way to just make that a lot easier. It was always difficult to tune the trying to keep the latest and trying to have a good expiration policy, and this will make that much simpler. We're also adding cross-project artifact dependencies, and what this means is that you'll be able to say that a job in the current pipeline that's running has a dependency on artifacts from another project, another ref, the last successful version of this job, for example. So if you're pulling in cache or artifacts or anything that's built in another project, it's going to be a lot easier to set that up now. There's different ways you can do that today, using curl to the endpoint to find the latest artifacts, then pull those down. But this is going to make that much more natural and much more powerful. We're also adding the ability to use the commit SHA in the cache key. And this is going to make it a lot easier to cache things and only invalidate the cache if the file has changed. It's a little tricky to do that today. It's a little bit more difficult than it needs to be. And this is a popular change that we've actually been able to come up with a solution, this creative solution on pretty recently. And we're really excited to get this one out and help make caching work in a much more logical and powerful way within GitLab CI pipelines. We're also finishing up triggering a pipeline when another project is rebuilt. This is an EE feature where you can set a project to automatically trigger itself when the master branch on another project is built. There's certain use cases where this is handy. If you've got microservices, not in a mono repo situation, but spread out amongst a bunch of different projects, then this kind of thing can be useful. If you have complex networks of dependencies, then it can also be useful. But this is our MVC of this feature, and yeah, also looking forward to getting that one out. We're improving the way that we show variables in the project view that were inherited. Right now, it can be a little confusing if you're looking at the project view of variables. You can only see the list of things that were configured in the current environment. We're going to be adding this section here, which will just show the keys. But you can be aware then where these are coming from. And if you click on this, for example, it'll take you to where that's actually defined if you have permissions to see that. So that's a nice quality of life improvement there. And then finally, simplifying includes by flattening the before script and after script arrays. This is a pretty technical item, but it's just going to make it a lot easier to do includes in a more coherent and powerful way. By flattening these arrays. At the moment, they're sort of baked into arrays of arrays, and you have to disassemble them. And sometimes, depending on how your script works, it's not quite possible to do that. Yeah, this will make things mergeable and easy to use. So that's it for the release. Hopefully, you saw something in there that you're excited about. Yeah, would love to hear your feedback on what we're delivering. Feel free to jump into the issues. Feel free to reach out to me directly. Would love to hear from you. Thanks, and we'll be in touch when we actually deliver this stuff. Talk to you soon.